Okay, so I'm making this video because like 3 days ago I had a trip, right? And like in the trip it got like so intense. So like I don't know why it got intense. It was almost like a mental breakthrough. Like it wasn't a typical normal breakthrough, but like when I have a really high dose of psychedelics, when I take a really high dose of like any psychedelic, right? Any traditional psychedelic, like LSD, mushrooms, DMT. I bet if I took a high dose of mescaline, it would happen too. But really what seems to happen is because I've had so many DMT experiences. Like DMT was the first psychedelic that I really explored with. Salvia was my first psychedelic, but DMT was the first psychedelic that I truly explored with. And like ever since that, when I do another psychedelic at a high dose, it's like all of the knowledge or all of the trips or all of the whatever the fuck comes back to me in that like moment of like this mental ego death, of like this mental overwhelming download of like everything I've forgotten. Like when you smoke DMT, it's like in the height of the DMT trip, like if you can have a full breakthrough at the height of it, it's like you understand the whole entire universe. Like you get, like it's like you get it, okay? But like when you come back, it's like you forget. It's like you immediately forget like 80% of what you just experienced. And when you're telling people your experience, you're only telling people like 20% of the trip because so much of it is lost in translation. Just like some things are lost in translation when you're translating things in different languages, it gets lost in translation because it's like something that just cannot be explained. There's parts of it that just cannot be explained in words. But as I've had so many different DMT trips, so many different psychedelic trips, it's like all of them hit me, and it's like a realization that it's like, well, I can't deny my experiences. Like, I can't run away from the things that I've experienced. Because on a day to day life, just normal day to day sober life, like, I'm just chilling, living life, doing, like, just living. I'm not necessarily thinking about all of the hundreds of DMT trips I've had and how what happened in each different trip. Now, if somebody asks me a question about a psychedelic or something, then I'll think about it, and like I've lost details over the years because over years you like, just like if you had a dream last week, you would start to lose more details of what happened in that dream as time goes on. So like as it's been years since I've done DMT, so those hundreds of experiences were years ago. So if I really needed to remember the trips, that's why I've made trip reports and made psychedelic videos about DMT and just the whole thing. But in this moment, it was an LSD experience, high dose LSD experience. But in this moment, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I start crying because it's like it hits me like a ton of bricks, right? That like all of the trips, all of the knowledge, all of the shit just punched me. And it was like I couldn't run away from it. And I was like, like, I started talking about, like, because I trip alone. So, like, I started just saying out loud, right? The truth cannot be denied. Like, you cannot run, like, it's like we have ideas, and, like, but humans have ideas until they're in front of the truth. Then they go through denial when they see the truth. Like when people, when scientists see psychedelics, they're like, well, maybe it's just the hallucination, or maybe it's just, whatever. When realistically, everything is a hallucination, including your sober state of mind is a hallucination being hallucinated by the chemicals in our brain, our natural chemicals in our brain. So, as I'm going through this, I pull out my phone because I use videos like while I'm tripping, not just to document the trip, but also to help ground me. Like it it was just kind of getting a little intense, so I pulled out the phone to talk, just to talk, to kind of help ground me. So as I'm doing that, I'm talking about like, well, we don't want to know the truth, right? Like humans say they want to know the truth, but really no, they don't, because like the truth is so real that it like shatters every idea. Like it's just, it's this thing. And I was explaining that like the truth is like, and that's when I posted I made a like a small little post on YouTube about the video, but I posted this video on TikTok, right? And what's crazy is, as I recorded this video, I put the phone down. I had no intentions to upload it. Like I had no intentions to upload the video because it was just designed. It was just there to help ground me, so I could breathe for a second and not be bombarded with all this fucking DMT shit and all this psychedelic shit, losing track of the room and losing sense of the body, like this whole thing. That like in a high dose of psychedelic, it just kind of brings me back to the DMT thing. So I watched the video, and because I'm crying and shit, right? I'm like, I'm not gonna upload this ever. But then I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just upload it to TikTok, because on my TikTok I usually only get like 200 to 500 views per like video. So I was like, whatever. Um, so I went to upload it to TikTok, but then as I was about to press upload, I canceled it because I was like, fuck. I cut off the ending of it because the ending of it, I started crying so hard, and I was still talking, but I couldn't. It was like I couldn't understand what the fuck I was saying. And it was almost like, I don't get embarrassed because I don't give a fuck, right? But like it was one of these moments where I was like, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna cut the ending. So I cut the ending and then I uploaded it. But then when I watched it back again after uploading it on TikTok, I watched it on my TikTok and I was like, oh fuck. I was reminded that like a lot of the people that were following me on TikTok are not the people that follow me on YouTube. So it's not like the people that follow me on YouTube kind of understand where, like, I don't know, the journey that I've been on and the whole thing. Like, so I don't have to necessarily explain why I trip hard or why I like or whatever the fuck or whatever. So then I made like an explanation video and then decided to upload that. Now I did this all while I was tripping because I made the original video while I was in the peak. I made the explanation video when I was in the come down, and then I literally like crashed and fell asleep right after I uploaded the explanation video. Okay, not thinking anything of it. Then I wake up. Okay, I wake up 2 days ago. This happened 3 days ago. So then I wake up 2 days ago, right? I wake up and I just check my phone or whatever. I see that TikTok has a bunch of notifications. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I didn't think nothing of it until I went to the video. The video that I uploaded, right? I'm so irritated that the video of me fucking bawling my eyes out, talking about, like, basically going through this ego death experience, just kind of explaining, about the truth and about, like, all this thing, the psychedelic truth. It had 100,000 views. 100,000 views, okay? And, like, right now, it has over 400,000 views. Almost half a fucking million views, okay? So as these days have gone, as these 3 days have happened, in the comment section, I was just like trying to keep up. In the beginning, I was trying to go through all the comments when it had 100,000 views. It had about 900, like 800 to 1,000 comments, okay? So like I'm going through them all, and a majority of the comments are just psychedelic, psychonaut type people who understood what I was going through. Like, because I'm sitting there crying and shit, like, and I'm going through this thing, I was expecting to get a bunch of trolls because it's on TikTok, right? So, like, I don't know. I had this different thought perspective. But as the days went on, there's about like 3,000 comments on that video. There's a good like few hundred or maybe 1,000 on the like other video, the explanation video, and like it blows my mind. Ever since this happened, I've gained just about 3,000 followers within the past 3 days. from this, but it's crazy because I wasn't gonna upload the video. Like, I was not gonna upload it, and like it's mind blowing to me. So now I have just about 5,000 followers on TikTok. I fucking I love that. That's awesome. What I really love the most though, because it the views blew my mind, right? The fact that it has almost 500,000 views on that video, and then because of that, I gained all these new followers. Where now a lot of my videos all have like thousands of views now. Like on the top of on the channel, the newer videos all have like thousands of views now. So like that's awesome. But it wasn't that. It was the fact that I only got like a handful of like trolls. Okay? So like people that are hating or whatever. Like the main video that I posted where I'm sitting there crying talking about the psychedelic truth and all this shit. A majority of the comments, like there's probably like 3,000 comments on there now. A, a good 2,900 of them are like people who get it or who understand or who have had a similar experience or were just trying to show some love to me or like it was beautiful. It was fucking amazing. But then there was that like 100 to 200 comments where it's like people that didn't understand but wanted to understand or want to understand. So like a lot of people were trying to like I guess get me to explain because I cut off the end of the video. So at the end of the video, I did explain a little bit more about what I was talking about. But like because I cut it off, because I was bawling my eyes out, like I was like, no, I'm not gonna fucking try to keep that. So I didn't really explain it. But when I noticed that a majority of the people in the comments already understand it because they've experienced something like that, that's when I was like, well, I don't really need to explain it. And I couldn't really explain it anyways. Like, even like if somebody's never had a breakthrough psychedelic experience or like an ego death psychedelic experience where you lose sense of reality, where you lose sense of your body, or like if you're going through a moment where your eyes are closed and you're meditating through it, or if you're whatever, like when you come back from those type of experience, it's a little traumatizing. And it's like I wasn't some people that didn't understand like thought I was crying because it was like sadness. And it's like I wasn't crying because of sadness. I was crying because it's so real that I couldn't deny it. Like it's so real that that's what makes it so like we don't want to know the truth because the truth is not as comforting as the many lies that are being spread around. Like the truth is so uncomfortable because it's so real. It's so like it's love, but it's so much love that it's so intense that you can't even explain it. It's so much everything that's like it's so intense. Just like the moment where like for me this was a different type of breakthrough because it was like a mental breakthrough, but it was like so intense to be dropped with all of the knowledge again of like oh, I remember I experienced this in DMT, and it's like seeing all these fractal patterns and all these different fractal machinery, where it's like almost the same type world as DMT, and it's just reminding me of this other world, this is one plane of existence, and like all of the other shit that I've learned over the past 9 years of being on this journey. Um, it just hit me so hard and I couldn't run from it. But what the beauty of it was is that whether somebody experienced what I've experienced or even just because that was LSD, but it was taking me back to the experiences on DMT and some of the experiences on mushrooms. And so it doesn't matter what psychedelic you've had that like ego death on. If you've had the ego death and you accepted it in a sense, because I accepted it, and like even though I was crying, it was just so intense. It's just like if you have such a intense moment, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you'll start crying. If you have a really intense love experience, you might start crying. Like if you're so in love with somebody, y'all might start crying. If you have such a beautiful, happy moment, you might start crying. You accomplish your dreams, you might start crying. Like when you accomplish your dreams and you start crying, you're not crying because you're sad that you accomplished your dreams. It's a different. It's just because when you have something so intense that cannot be explained, it will cause tears. Like when the pain is so severe that it can't be explained, it just causes tears. When the happiness is so severe that it can't be explained, it just causes tears. When the love and the breakthrough and the psychedelic thing was so intense, it just caused tears. But it's just one of these things that was so beautiful to see that it's like, one, I got all these new followers on TikTok, so I'm gonna spend more time on TikTok and doing the thing over there. Like I'm gonna also start like cutting some of my long videos and then uploading them to TikTok and doing all this thing. But like, what was so beautiful about it is that even though I wish it was a different video that got that went viral. This is the first video I've ever had that got like super viral. But even though it was this video and I didn't want it to be this video because I didn't even want to upload this video, I'm grateful that the majority of the people that that don't know me really, like that just subscribed or that just seen that, or I only got like 3,000 subscribers, but like there's so 400,000 people seen the video. Uh, a shit ton of people liked the video. Like 20,000 people liked the video, and like 3,000 people commented, and about 3,000 people saved the video. So like, and then about those 3,000 people that commented are probably the same 3,000 people that subscribed, and like, it's not necessarily about how many subscribers, it's the quality of subscribers. Like I think people forget, like so these people subscribed or followed me because of this psychedelic video where they could relate, they understood. So like, if a bunch of people followed me from just some TikTok trend, then those people would expect me to do the same type TikTok trends. Where it's like, I've made a video about this on TikTok about like, you kind of got to figure out what you want to do with your TikTok, right? And be careful with just doing trends because you'll get caught into like basically be careful with the viral shit, because I figured out the problem with going viral. I went viral with this video, and somebody who is like obsessed with going viral or like addicted to that dopamine rush of going viral, right, will then just constantly repeat the same type of content that went viral. And like, I'm not going to repeat the same content that went viral because that was a spur of the moment thing. What I might end up doing though is I might just end up documenting a little bit more when I trip, and try to document my thoughts a little more while I'm tripping, not just while I'm like high or sober or whatever. But like, I guess it's just I'm gonna be me, and like, slowly but surely I'll gain followers, and the followers that I'll slowly gain will be quality followers. Like, it doesn't matter. There's people that have millions of followers that get 1,000 views on their videos. That means that they subscribed for a certain video that you probably don't even make that often. So therefore, they subscribed for a reason that like isn't quality for you, because it doesn't matter about how many followers you have. It really matters how many people actually watch your content. Like how many, like that's why when I talk about my TikTok, I would talk about shout out to the 200 to 500 people that loyally watch the content. Like it didn't matter that I had, like 4 days ago I had 1,700 followers, right? And out of those 1,700 followers, I would get anywhere between 200 to 500 views per every time I dropped a video. And that was like dope to me. So I look at it like I have 200 to 500 followers. Like even though I have I had almost 2,000, like it's the quality people are the ones that are actually engaging in the content, watching the content. And it's like, they don't have to like the video, they don't have to comment, but I just appreciate the fact that they're watching it, and like that it can, in a sense, bring them value in a sense. And like, it's just this thing that I'm like, wow, this is mind blowing. This is why I say TikTok is not the problem, because TikTok is just a platform. And like, I found out that like it's really just about you. Like, if you be yourself, then you'll attract people that are like you. Like, it's very, like, it's just one of those things. Whatever you do on the internet, you'll attract people that like that type of shit. So like, if I talk about psychedelics, I'll attract people that like psychedelics. And like I said, the beauty of it is so many of these people, it's like they understood based, and it doesn't matter if they understood a lot or a little bit, or just because they've had the experience so they get it. But like, it was beautiful to see that there's so many people that are, I guess you can, that's why I said in the last video I made about TikTok that like there was an awakening that happened on TikTok. There really was. Over this past year, there was like this awakening that happened. And like, there's so many people that went through their like beginning stages of their psychedelic journey, or the beginning stages of their spiritual journey, or the beginning stages of trying to figure out that the world is manipulated, or that things are not as they seem, or that they relied to their whole life. Like, I started my spiritual psychedelic journey 9 years ago. What I've seen on TikTok over this past year is a lot of people just started their journey over these past few years. Like, when COVID started, a lot of people started their spiritual journey because it was like they had time to just be with themselves for the first time, and it's like what push started their journey. But like, I seen this shit on TikTok, and now it's like I can confirm it, that there's a lot of people that genuinely like are just awakened people, or want to be awakened people. Like I said, a majority of the people were like people that wanted to, like, either they understood, or the others wanted to understand what the truth was, what the psychedelic truth was, what everyone in the comments was agreeing about, and what everyone in the comments was talking about, and how like everyone kind of understood each other, even though none of us know each other. It was just a beautiful thing. And like, the other response video, I got a little hate, right? Just like, but there was only like a good 5 or 10 people that were like hating or whatever, out of thousands of people, like 5 or 10 people. So I was like, you just ignore the haters, you ignore the people that don't, like, it's okay to not understand, but if they're not understanding in a rude way, just ignore them, right? But like, I was trying to keep up with all of these comments. I sat there for like hours. I felt like I sat there for hours, literally just trying to comment back on so many people's things, slowly reading everybody's things, slowly whatever. But then as it kept growing, it's just like I couldn't keep up with it, and I was like, oh man, I gotta stop. Like I just couldn't keep up with the thing. So like, I'm glad that that happened, because I got a little taste of what it would be like if I was at a higher level of like subscribers and people commenting and all this. Like, it would be really hard if every video I made got 400,000, almost a half a million views, because it would be really hard to keep up with the comments and to whatever. What I really love about the YouTube thing, and my what I've been joining, like, True Life Stories, and like, what I love is there's this personal thing between like just a good, I don't know, 20 to 100 people, and like, you can build something personal with 20 to 100 people. And when there's only a few comments, you can comment back, but when it's so many people, it's so hard to keep up with. But because I know that that doesn't happen often on TikTok, right? With TikTok, going viral is hit or miss. But at the same time, that's great, because I wouldn't want to have 400,000 views every video, because I just couldn't keep up with it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because this was a mind blowing experience to me. It was really awesome though, and like, it's also helped me. I've gained some new subscribers on my YouTube channels, and like, it was just a really dope experience, and Yeah, some really dope people out there. There really is. Much love, everybody.